Hello, welcome everyone. This is ModX Network Voices. My name is Ryan Smith, and I am joined by my partner, Ivan Rupnik. Ivan, say hello.
Hi. Hey, Ryan. Hey, everybody.
Thanks for coming again, Ivan. Today, we have a unique opportunity to listen and discuss with Regina Gray. Regina directs research at HUD, and she's going to be talking a little bit about her role and a little bit about her story. And then we'll try to unpack here for our listeners the relationship between offsite construction and affordable housing, and what is HUD's role in that domain currently, and what are they trying to do to progress this for the United States. Welcome, Regina. Welcome to our discussion today. We appreciate you coming.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate you having me here. This is a great opportunity to talk about what HUD is doing in the space, so I'm very excited to join you today, and thank you for having me.
That's great. Yeah, I tried to introduce you, but I didn't do it justice. So could you tell us a little bit about your role there at HUD and maybe how you got to where you are currently, and then what is HUD currently working on in the affordable and offsite space? That'd be great.
Sure. Well, HUD is a fairly large department, and where I am, it is the research arm of the department. It's the Office of Policy Research and Development. In that office, I oversee a very, very small division called Affordable Housing Research and Technology. I got to HUD about 20 years ago. I did not have a background in housing policy. My background is much more in policy related issues, urban policy, if you will, to be more specific. Political science. I have a background in political science and policy studies, and I basically got interested in housing and affordable housing, to be specific, in grad school. Really, I was thinking about writing a dissertation on smart growth policies in the U.S. that is looking at growth management strategies across the U.S., how we make better decisions about where we build and what we build and how we're utilizing our resources across the country. I moved over to where I am now in affordable housing research and technology as the department began to focus a bit more on looking at innovative approaches to affordable housing problems. In this country, as we all know, we have a major housing crisis, affordable housing crisis to be exact. And so my division looks at more of how can we find very sort of out-the-box forward-thinking solutions for our affordable housing challenges in this country. And primarily now, it seems to be in the rental market where a lot of the issues we have are around supply, the cost of construction, the absence of labor or skilled labor, the cost of land and building on land. That has driven, or at least in part driven, the supply of moderately priced affordable rental housing down. And so we are looking for, at least the department is looking for ways to address this issue, which will probably unfortunately get a lot worse in the coming months as we face evictions and as people unfortunately lose their job around the COVID pandemic, the COVID crisis. So if I were to just briefly give a synopsis of what the department is looking at, we're looking at solutions to affordable housing challenges in the market. But we also know that we're going to eventually have to deal with homelessness, chronic homelessness. We're going to eventually have to deal with issues around poverty, increasing poverty, and also the lack of housing for very low income families, in addition to the lack of supply of housing for moderately price income families. So as far as specific research in this space, offsite construction, we believe there's an opportunity there to do more in this space and to raise awareness about sort of the quality of factory built or offsite housing, and to increase the education and awareness, not just on the consumer side, on the demand side, but also on the market side, on the supply side, because we do see that there is a growth in the industry in the US around modular housing. We don't see the uptake as much as we can. So we'd like to address the barriers that continue to persist in this space and how we can overcome the barriers to market penetration in this space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do those issues span sort of technical questions, like building systems type questions, all the way to sort of policy, regulation, finance? I mean, what is the scope of the research that your department is trying to lead on?
So I think the answer to all of those questions is yes. So there's a there's more attention being paid to the quality of materials, the durability of the materials that we that we have in housing, and whether or not those materials protect the residents from natural disasters, from hazards of all kinds, and the durability over time. I mean, as we unfortunately see with the increasing natural disasters, and we're going to face a bit more of that, the fires on the West Coast, if you will, and more trouble coming to the Gulf Coast, and and just the regular sort of seasonal problems that climate problems that we face on a seasonal basis. There's going to be more of an effort to bring about evidence-based research around the durability of products that we use in housing, whether it's wood systems or cross-laminated timber. There's a lot of interest in looking into that type of material technologies for housing, and other types of high performance materials that we want to learn more about, and we look to the international space to help us in that effort as well.
That's great.
That's fascinating, because one of the things we've been Ryan and I both had some discussions last week. I think Ryan with NPR and on the West Coast, and myself with Sidewalk Labs, which is the kind of R&D wing of Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google. And in both cases, they were fascinated and sort of had very little, but seemed to be very uninformed about HUD's role in the history of offsite. I mean, not the history, the ancient history, but the recent history of offsite construction. And we were happy to, report that HUD had a big and in many ways positive impact on what we have as an industry today. So we wouldn't even have the modular companies, as well as obviously the manufactured housing without HUD. So I guess we were surprised that even very smart, very educated, very folks that are in the space of affordable housing technology didn't really understand the continued role of HUD. And so I guess it's one question is, how do we, as HUD learns more about these systems, and I know you guys are also working on ways to get the story of HUD out through different events, and maybe talking a little bit about how would you like HUD to be perceived in this space, as a leader, as an enabler, as a nurturer, what kind of in the near future.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do think that there's a lot to be said about Operation Breakthrough, when we had advances in factory built housing, and of course the HUD code manufactured housing or manufactured homes has been the model, not only in the US, but in the world, across the world, in Europe and in most some Asian countries and some South American countries. I think the HUD code manufactured housing prototype has been the model for factory built. think where we face challenges in this area is, again, bringing it to market, getting to an understanding of, where we need, where the greatest needs are. And if we're looking to offsite construction as an option for affordable housing, or to expand the supply of affordable housing, I think we have an opportunity there, not only in the HUD code manufactured area, but in offsite construction and factory built systems in general, whether it's panelized or modular or what have you. There's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity for HUD to lead on this issue, but also for HUD to establish some partnerships on this. And that is exactly what we're trying to do, is create more opportunities for collaboration, whether that's in the research, evidence-based side of things, or whether it's bring it to market, learning how to finance. We just had some questions around financing, whether or not we see a value in factory built in terms of appreciation rates, and what is an investment for the consumer in terms of, again, whether or not at resale you get a good payback or payoff, but also these are quality homes.
Yeah.
I mean, manufactured housing, factory built in general, are quality, but I think there needs to be more done in this space to raise awareness, to increase our understanding of factory built in general, but also the HUD code manufactured home in particular. There's still a lot of work to be done in that arena to sort of build, not just around sort of the quality and the performance, which we have research around, but also, again, like financing and appreciation rates, and expanding the market for this type of housing.
And do you see one of the things we've been is that it's always been housing and offsite has been looked at in terms of job creation, and in terms of other industries. So we looked at Sweden, and in Sweden, the equivalent of our like USDA, or like sort of the forestry sector, both public side and private side, were a big part of finding all of the economic benefits and the social benefits of some offsite construction. Is there possibilities for interdepartmental ways to address these issues in the U.S. context as well? Do you see are those channels open? Might they be opened up more in the future?
We certainly hope so. I mean, we totally believe. We certainly believe in establishing partnerships around this issue to raise awareness and to create our understanding of this is a very complex issue, right? I mean, there's a lot of complexities around factory built, how it works, and then you get into sort of the more sort of administrative side of things. How do you get permits? How do you get clearance, environmental clearance? How do you comply with the land use requirements or other types of standards, code, building code standards, and a host of different other considerations that go into factory built construction. And where we can learn from not just US examples, but from Sweden and from other examples that exist across Europe and across the world, we are certainly open to those learning opportunities and an exchange. So we hope that with our research that's ongoing, that we can also share what we know and what we've learned, the evidence that we've built around the efficacy of factory built construction.
Regina, the partnerships that you speak of with HUD, certainly housing and urban development, you've got industry, and you've got universities, right? The kind of triple helix of research and development. What do your partnerships look like currently as you do research out of your unit and HUD more broadly? Is it primarily with universities and then adding on industry? Is it primarily with industry and then adding on universities? How does that flavor look? And what do you see as being successful in ensuring that we not only develop knowledge, but can disseminate it properly to the channels that can employ it and action it?
Yeah, well, we're very proud to say that we have quite a diverse set of partners and stakeholders, and we with the research side of things, we've been very fortunate to work with not only universities but research organizations. I think we have a really good relationships with the advocacy organizations as well, Manufactured Housing Institute and other related to partner organizations that we rely heavily on for information, whereas whether it's data or reports that they produce that we can learn from in our space. And like I said, it's transactional too. So there are times where we get calls around our work, and it makes us very proud. And in that process, oftentimes we identify areas where there's still gaps in knowledge, where there's still knowledge gaps in terms of what we need to build evidence around. So the relationships between ourselves, other sister agencies, whether it's Environmental Protection Agency or whatever we're doing with transportation and the Department of Energy, looking at high performance, so low carbon emissions type of work with them, and quality-based work in the rural space with USDA at some point, or whether it's with our research organization or research institutes that we work closely with. So I think we're very proud to say that we have a good relationship, not only with the universities and the research organizations, but the industry itself. And we've been able to share some of that across the board, with our partners and with the people that we serve too, that our programs serve. So we're very proud of that.
That's great.
And have more of that in the future.
Yeah. So one thing that always happens is when you have a change in administration, that there is a shakeup, right? There's a shakeup in the different departments to some degree, and we can't predict what's going to happen in November, December, January with this new election. But what does what does that cycle look like, and how does that impact your work and what you're trying to do at HUD? Can I ask that question? That's a little bit gets into the weeds.
You can. You can, and I think the answer to that is that with every administration, and let's see, how many administrations have I lived through? 1, 2, 3. After this one, it would be my 4th. And every time it's a good experience because priorities change, agendas change. There's some things with respect to the research that will change. We can expect probably that there will be some issues that we would really like to pursue that do not raise to the level of visibility and attention that we would hope. But those issues don't go away. It's just that they become sort of lower on the priority agenda. With respect to the issue that we're talking about, which is offsite construction, the value of offsite construction, and all the research and work that we're doing around this issue, I personally don't see that changing. We still have a lot to do in the space, and we're still in the midst of a lot of the work around this. We are going to be hosting our 2nd annual Innovative Housing Showcase next June. I will provide information at a later date on that. We're planning to have the showcase event hosted on the National Mall. And that event, we plan to showcase a lot of off-site construction protocols from around the country, and hopefully maybe we can we can work internationally in that space as well, to invite prototypes from, maybe Sweden and other European countries. That's our desire anyway. But we very much look forward to showcasing some of these innovative technologies and optional housing on the mall as a part of that. So that's not going to change, and the research that we're doing around this issue will not change. So we're very happy about that. We're very happy that that work will continue, and we don't see that ceasing anytime soon.
Yeah, no, the topics are very bipartisan in that way. These are crises,
Yes.
right? Whether you're Republican or Democrat, we've got to solve the housing problem here, and that's it's good to see the commitment from you and from HUD.
Yes.
in this space. Ivan, you got any more questions for Regina? No.
No, I'm just wanted to say, we continue to be big fans, Regina, and we're just here to help in any way that we can, and really appreciate the hard work you guys are doing over there. And we're just trying to also get the word out from our side, the important past, present, and future role of HUD in this very complicated problem that we all really need to get involved in more and really start to find solutions to make people's lives better. So it's awesome.
Well, I'm a huge fan too. The feelings are mutual, and thank you so much for having me today.
Great. We'll add some links at the bottom from Regina Gray, Housing and Urban Development. Thank you for coming and joining with ModX today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.